Today's lesson, Taro's Reward. Before you listen to the video, children, I recommend you to read the lesson. It's a simple story about a woodcutter named Taro who has a great love and concern for his parents. Taro's Reward is a popular fairy tale in Japan. It involves the story of a son, Taro, who wanted to fulfill the wishes of his father. Taro was a poor boy. He earned money by chopping wood from the jungle. Taro's Reward. A story of a thoughtful and loving son who looks after his parents. His dedication and thoughtfulness are rewarded by the Almighty and later by the king when he heard about the incidents. Vocabulary enrichment. Delighted meaning feeling or showing great pleasure. Sentence. I was delighted to see my grandmother. Synonyms. Glad, happy, thrilled. Antonyms. Bored, sad, unhappy. So next word is swallow. That means goes or allowed to pass through the throat. Sentence. Chew before you swallow your food. Synonyms are eat, pulp, consume. Antonyms. Antonyms are nibble and keep. Okay? The third word, procession. Procession means a number of people moving forward. You might have seen the procession. Sentence. There was a procession in the street. Synonyms are parade, march. Antonyms, disorder. More disorderly. Not in a order like march or parade. Okay? When we go through the lesson, read the lesson, you will get answer to these questions. First question is, what did Taro do for a living? A young woodcutter named Taro lived with his mother and father on a lonely hillside. All day long he chopped wood in the forest. Though he worked very hard, he earned very little money. This made him sad, for he was a thoughtful son and wanted to give his old parents everything they needed. And second question, what happened one day evening? One evening when Taro and his parents were sitting in a corner of their hut, he whistled through the cracks of the hut. There was a heavy wind and everyone felt very cold. Suddenly, Taro's father said, I wish I had a cup of sake. It would warm me and do my old heart good. The third question is, what made Taro sad? Or the heartwarming drink called sake was very expensive. How do I earn more money? He asked himself. How do I get a little sake for my poor old father? He decided to work harder than before. Fourth question, what happened the next day? Next morning, Taro jumped out of bed earlier than usual and made his way to the forest. He chopped and cut as the sun climbed, and soon he was so warm that he had to take off his jacket. It was dry and his face was wet and sweat. My poor old father, he thought. If only he was as warm as I. And with that, he began to chop even faster. thinking of the extra money he must earn to buy the sake to warm the old man's bones. Then suddenly Taru stopped chopping. Fifth question. What was hidden behind a rock? What was that sound? Could it be a rushing water? Tara could not remember ever seeing or hearing a rushing of water in the forest. Axe dropped out of his hands and he ran in the direction of the sound. Tara saw a beautiful little waterfall hidden behind a rock. Kneeling at a place where the water flowed quietly, he cupped a little in his hand and put it to his lips. Was it water? Or was it sake? He tasted it again and again, and always it was a delicious sake instead of cold water. He quickly filled the pitcher he had with him and hurried home. After only one swallow of the liquid, his father stopped shivering and did a little dance in the middle of the floor. What did the neighbor do? That afternoon, a neighbor stopped by for a visit. Taru's father politely offered her a cup of the sake. The lady drank it greedily and thanked the old man. Then Taro told her the story of the magic waterfall. Thanking them for the delicious drink, she left in a hurry. She had spread the story throughout the whole village. That evening there was a long procession of visitors to the woodcutter's house. Each man heard the story of the waterfall and took a sip of the sake. Why was Taro surprised? Next morning he carried with him the largest pitcher he owned, for he intended first of all to go to the waterfall. When he reached it, he found, to his great surprise, all the neighbors there were carrying pitchers, jars, buckets, anything they could. Then one villager knelt and held the mouth under the waterfall to drink. Where did Taru hide? Drank again and again and then shouted angrily, "Water! Nothing but water!" He was also tried, but there was no sake, only cold water. "We have been tricked," shouted the villagers. But Taru had been wise enough to slip behind a rock. When he saw how things were going, he was nowhere to be found. Uttering their anger and disappointment, the villagers left the place one by one. Taru came out from the hiding place. Was it true? He wondered. Was the sake a dream? Once more he caught a little liquid in his hand and put it to his lips. It was the same fine sake. It was the same fine sake. To the thoughtful son, the magic waterfall gave the delicious sake. Everyone else, it gave only cold water. The story of Taro and his magic waterfall reached the Emperor of Japan. He sent for the young woodcutter and rewarded him with 20 pieces of gold for having been so good and kind. He named the most beautiful fountain in the city after Taro.